Good evening, everyone. Welcome you all for this today's session. So today we will be learning about thesis writing. So before going to the today's content, there are young researchers, senior faculties. We could have done multiple degrees. So tell me how many number of theses you have written. For example, I'm just telling my diploma, bachelor's, master's, then PhD. So 4. Similarly, how many numbers? Final. Because some institute I have seen recently, I saw a curriculum of an institute. Every semester they have a design project. At the end, a short, I think weekly 4 hours or 5 hours, they have to do a design project. So they will have more number of theses at the end. So similarly, how many number of theses you have already written? Two, five, four. Anybody having more than 3? If you are, I hear there are many research students, so good. 2 thesis you already written. Others? Okay, good. One. Okay. See, uh, my diploma thesis, how I wrote, I don't remember much. But bachelor's, fine. Master's also wrote, spent time for thesis. PhD, it's a wonderful experience. Why? Because before my thesis submission, some 6 months or 1 year ago, a scholar from nanotechnology, later she joined as a vice WISC is some kind of fellowships from DST for women scientists in I think IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur. She is an excellent researcher. So she's from Kolkata. She used to come to the institute where my PhD, and she used to do all her works. So during her thesis submissions, one interesting thing is she wrote line by line, feel, and she wrote. Feel in the sense, this is your work, your contribution. This is the last thesis mostly of your lifetime. Before, like, rarely somebody do 2 3 PhDs. Mostly that will be the last thesis. And bachelor's masters will be like kind of project, not much novelty. If you see many institute, many times, many research or many even recently talked to one professor, and he said, no students, they do some projects, but that will not even go for is a conference publication even, but they do some projects. Okay, in that case, obviously they don't spend much time. The students even spend much time for writing the thesis. They explore using some AI tool and they complete the task, because bachelor's master thesis is not going to get published. They just put it, but later the problem is for the faculty. So the graph alone will be not comes under plagiarism. The results will not comes, but they again rephrase, write, and then they go for publication. But students will not think about all those things. Many students. The most important thing that I impressed from that scholar is line by line, because I just exploring the query when I ask certain things from the thesis. It's like healing the healing the wound. There is a, I think, small technique. If you just paste, it will be healed, something like that. So when I asked a lot of queries related to those topic, and that madam explained very clearly from the thesis, and then clearly said me that the line by line of this thesis is written by me, starting from all the chapters, all the informations were written by me in detail. And she said, this will be, hope, my final thesis, and this is my hard and my, because in the institute there is a criteria that patent granted also will be considered. So I think nearly a 4 years she waited, and her patents were been granted. Okay, so the contributions, the outcome, uh, she's very happy, and those informations clearly she wrote in the thesis. After writing the thesis, you get the degree. The process is you submit your thesis to your research or your department, institute research office. So your supervisor will mostly mail to your the research office. They will send, uh, normally hard copy process also will be done. Parallelly, the soft copy also, the supervisor will be sending the mail to the office. So these details, the examiner details, Indian examiner and foreign examiner details will be taken to the, if you see in deemed universities, vice chancellors, and other industry, I think dean or directors will just tick who has to be. Some institute supervisor is on everything. Okay, even some top institute supervisor has to decide everything, and uh, so it will go to some Indian examiner and foreign examiner. So they will explore the thesis and they will provide their valuable comments, and that comment should be incorporated. Uh, and then again, a revised thesis should be uh, printed as well as in a soft copy manner. It should be okay. Some research talk, content, if you think it will take nearly a year or more than a year, the supervisor can give that as a comment that can be considered as a future work, and you can avoid it. Okay, it depends on the supervisor, because some supervisors will not allow. Some supervisors will not allow for, and the comments, responding to the comments is it's a another skill. For one of my students, one comments came that from one Indian examiner. He cited his 4 research article, and he asked all the 4 articles has to be compared in his thesis. So the thesis belongs to his work with the conventional technique. Okay. Now he want to add his research work in the thesis with 4 research articles. So if you are adding all the informations, it will be not the thesis, the content, the flow will be totally different. So some unique parameters in a single table as a the results outcome about other literatures alone, just we have added the values and compared it. So uh, uh, we need to decide and discuss carefully with your supervisors to responding to their comments. Okay, because for everyone their research work is the great, uh, like excellent. So uh, because some examiners, and most important thing is, the examiner should be closely related to your research area. That may be the reason you get a lot of comments, but that is worth adding them as an examiners. If you see, my scholar is to say, sir, they also done similar to us, our research work. Uh, this much number of questions. Even our other officials said that how they are asking this much. But many queries are starting with the appreciation, then a suggestions. It's an excellent comments by one of the reputed professor in that domain. Uh, an international examiner is, I think, very limited, some 8, 10 or very less number of comments. So After the comments, so now the scholar is waiting for the final oral presentations. Okay, so thesis writing, if we are any research student, because the problem is the guides supervisor will not have enough time to train the research students how to write the thesis. Okay, even in bachelor's, master's, whatever may be the levels, students will write, they will come. So what I used to do is for PG students, I used to teach them in the initial days. At the end, uh, and for thesis writing, some time should be given. If you give just 1 week to write the thesis, obviously they will copy others' thesis and they will paste it. For writing 15-page, 20-page article, we have given enough number of time, but 150 to 300 or set a number of pages of thesis for writing, we will not give enough number of time. Okay, so that time has to be given. Otherwise, obviously, they will do all unethical practices. For PhD, as thesis is going to get published, for them there is no other options there. And rarely, I think you could have remembered some scholars, maybe you known uh, before this AI plagiarism options were added in Turnitin, they could have completed their thesis and they are left. Okay, but later these options were added. I know one scholar in another institute. I think in the initial thesis submissions, he don't have the AI option in Turnitin. So he used all those things and rephrased and he submitted. I think the similarity is very less only, but using AI. Suddenly after examination comments, I think again they have checked. So it shows many AI plagiarisms. So then he started like removing all those things, writing and all. So be careful. Better, and many institute they will exclude your own publication content. Your own publication content. It's yours. Okay, you are the author. You are the thing. So they will exclude many institute. Your publication content alone they will exclude. Okay, don't refresh and write yours again. Again. Okay. So a thesis is a written work resulting from original research, especially one submitted for higher degree in a university. Uh, so in one institute, I have during my resignation, I just asked the student, you share some two positive points and two negative points, or some suggestions. And when students said that you are very strict in this project phase, design project, and all those things, because these all content I used to teach them in the initial days, and at the end when they are not providing some good outcome, then little bit we will strict, right, in academics. So when we are teaching these things to in the earlier stages, the writing part, academic writing, other things, it will be very easy for the student. Otherwise, students has to refer multiple source. Nowadays they are not going even asking multiple. So earlier, at least in Google, you will go to 2 3 page. But nowadays, ChatGPT or Gemini, that's all. Whatever they give, they are just believing that and they are exploring it. Okay. So we need to train them because every institute will have a different format. For example, the foreign examiner said that in the literature, try to add lot of tables and lot of figures and so on. So we see the institute format, they don't have this table and figure formats, only the write-up format as per the institute format. So these are all will be there. Okay. But wherever you are studying or working, try to explore that format clearly. Even some institute, the layout, the edge, 1 inch or 1.5 inch, even that will be having changes. Okay, and better download the format from the institute websites. Some researchers, what they do is they download from Shodhganga and they format it. And the logos in some private universities, every 2 3 years or 5 years once, they will change the logo designs. So you will explore your seniors, and later you have a different logos and different informations. And some institute there will be interim vice chancellors, other different vice chancellors. So initially in your thesis submission, different vice chancellor will be there. When you go for your final revised thesis, you have a different vice chancellor. Okay, so you have to be very clear. Any updates were there in the institute, you have to be update and you have to clearly mention in your thesis. Okay, because it's published, that's all done. Now, why you need to write? Obviously, to share scientific knowledge. It's a proof of your findings, and for degree, then it's a good intellectual property. I think in SRM institute, some institute recently, not recently, quite long. One of our colleague went for an interview and they said to bring the PhD thesis also, I think. Okay, so if some company is doing your PhD research, then that's all gone. They will ask lot of queries from that. Maybe your supervisor can help you to put a non-Indian examiner, foreign examiner, and I have seen certain meetings not responding anything to the examiners. Also, there are people getting their degrees. But you go to another institute for a faculty position in an interview, they will ask shoot queries related to your PhD research work, and that's all done. Okay. So that's a property belongs to you, your findings for 3 years or 5 years or 7 years. I have seen certain researchers to that extent even. They say multiple reasons, medical or COVID or reasons, and it is getting extended. What is in the thesis? The thesis consists of you are addressing a problem or a series of problems. Some problems will not end immediately, right? It's a series of problems. Many problems it is extending only. Then the thesis you have to describe the problem clearly and what you did to solve the problems. For solving the problem, what's the methodology you have used? And when you do those methodology part and what are the results you get, the discussions, then the future work. The simple, very simple only. Simple structures. Front page, front pages, declarations, bona fide, abstract, acknowledgement, table of contents, list of table, list of figures. Then you will have a chapters, then appendix. Normally in this appendix, you will be having uh, some researchers their code they will be adding it. Some researcher other informations they will be adding it. Okay. Then reference, list of publications, and the final certificate. Some institute this final certificate is another template, and most the minutes, and sometimes some institute minutes will be added at last, some institute minutes will be added in the initial next to the bona fide, that depends. And CV, okay, there is a sample structure. One second. Okay. So before start writing, you need to have an outline. How you can have an outline? See, as I said in the earlier sessions, during my review time, during my postdoc time at IIT Delhi, I gone through an article. I'm not able to understand better from that article. So I went to the thesis of that author and I read those content and it helped me a lot. Similarly, your thesis will be helpful to various researchers in future. Even today, like many of my students, they are exploring my thesis. Similarly, when you become a supervisor, your thesis will be available in Shodh Ganga and any other source, and your students also will be exploring your thesis. Okay, so if you're not serious that some because I have seen certain students, they need to get degree, but the process for getting the PhD degree, they will not be very much serious. Okay. One scholar, I think he paid some 80,000 or certain amount, and those guys, they will be company will be asking you, you provide two three theses related to your work and something. So all are irrelevant, and he paid certain amount. So because this is, it is very difficult. Okay, because these company will ask you, you tell your publication alone, based on that you will write and provide you. But uh, the meaning, they are not scientific expert from your discipline. They have some bachelors of language, like some content creators, they know paraphrasing well, so they just do the content. So that if you publish those details, and that sent to some international review examiners and Indian examiners from top institute, and so it will be not a good one. Okay, so thesis, obviously you should uh, write, feel, and have those details. Okay, before start writing, the outline is very important. I normally prefer, nowadays, using AI tools, you will get an outline, but comparatively related to your research work, try to find some thesis in Shodh Ganga. With a scholar, like not recently, some long back, we had a meeting, uh, initial days of the PhD program. So what we said is, uh, before, like with the title and all discussions, I suggested the scholar to go through some relevant thesis, how you have to have a 2 3 base research article. Similarly, try to have two base thesis which is closely related to your research work. Closely related to your research work. Okay. Now, most important thing here is, when you explore this closely related base thesis, you will come to know that how the chapters they have separated, how the sections were aligned, how the methodology flowcharts they have plotted. Your research will be different, but how they made it, right? The contents, because if you don't go for the formatting, certain details will be differ for your institutes. Okay, go to the contents, the outlines, sections, subheading. That you have to do it initially. Okay, the table of contents, or uh, how many figures you are planning to have, wherever, what below the chapters, what are the figure captions you are going to have, just an outline. If you have a good outline, the next task is very simple. For preparing an outline, better discuss with your supervisor. The initial table of content is there, right? Starting from what are sections, chapter 1 2 3, these are the headings you are going to write. Some researchers, they explore with their research article, and they make it. For example, if they have three articles, so the three articles will be their step by step process of their research. So they separate that research as a chapters, and then they proceed it. So that depends, but the workflow should be proper. Okay. After preparing the chapters outline, assemble all the data, tables, figures properly. You try to plot in origin graph. Maybe for your article you use Excel without, because I have seen some good journals even with Excel. You don't want to even do some small editing, even directly it will be available without any editings. Okay. So though such a way the article maybe get published, but this is at least plotted using origin, have a good pictures, all tables, everything should be clear, and organize them into a sensible sequence. Many researchers, they start with literature review, because start with easy, and easy for writing, but that will give you some trouble in names of plagiarism, the literature review, because there you are going to uh, categorize your research work into 2 3 themes. Based on the theme, in every theme you collect 15 20 25, that depends, because some institute, they have 20 page 25 page of literature review. So you see your earlier, if you see in my institute, current institute, one thesis copy will be in the department. So frequently, if you see my scholar, suddenly he'll go and explore it, how they are keeping the page numbers in the top right corner or the bottom. So institute small changes will be there. So better go through the formats. Okay. And don't think that what format you give, they have to take it and do it. So mostly they don't. And if you see some institute, the secretary, office secretary or certain officials only will be exploring this kind of formatting, as they have seen multiple number of theses, even small formatting issues, immediately they will find. Okay. And do sections whenever, when required, then try to have a base thesis. Base thesis is very important. Then start the page number from introduction, but you have to start with the Roman numerals, the page numbers. Then after introduction, it goes with the normal numerical, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Title page will not have the page numbers. Okay, normally the first page will not have the page number. From second page, you have to start the page as Roman numerals 2. So this is how the sample title page looks. One, a sample from a private institute. Left is from IIT Madras. IIT Madras. Okay. You can see the formatting obviously will have a lot of changes. The title page consists of the title, name, reg numbers, institute details, supervisor name sometimes, month, year. Check the recent logo and follow the dimensions as per the institute regulations. Okay, that's very important. Declaration. Some institutes they have these declarations to pay the royalty from that content. Acknowledge, try to acknowledge your supervisors, family members, your top officials from your institutes. This is title. Some title I have seen in Shodh Ganga, it looks like a paragraph. It's not a title. Okay, so try to have a title. Even now I can see my title is on studies on magnetorheological damper for seismic resistance of structures. If it is a big paragraph, even we will not remember even, right? So keep the title simple. In that simplified way, you have to like inform what is your studies all about. Okay, 10 to 14, 15 words maximum. Okay, more than that, try not to have the titles. More specific. The title, by reading the title itself, the other researchers must understand what you have done on the study. So not much longer. Then introduction part. In your thesis, introduction part should have more background informations. From where it is started, where the research work started, who started, how started, all the very basic informations. All the very basic informations. Okay. 1 second. Professor Ved Patak, can I know my voice is audible, clear? Okay. So various very background informations you should add it. Uh, at least even some kind of 10 pages if you are adding it will be better. Very basic background information, how it started, even small informations, the introduction part of your research work. Okay. Evaluate the present scenario about your research work. You say how it started and who started, how who developed this, and later how this design, whatever. Maybe try to add it. And some motivation for the study. Why you are studying this? Because people ask me, you are in Chennai or Coimbatore and you are studying about earthquake engineering where there is no earthquake often, right? But there is a motivation behind that. So that information you have to add it in the introduction. Then the description or importance of the problem. If you see related, if you take about air pollution, AQI, air quality index, right? So that's the importance. In introduction, try not to have much literatures from others. Try to, if you're having also very limited. Some don't have the very recent articles in introduction part. Introduction is a very basic background, how it started, how important your study is. If your study is how useful to others, that's okay. At last, you come with the objective of your study. Try to identify the gaps. How important the gaps needs to be closed. Okay, it should be completed and write it after you have written the body chapters and conclusions, the introduction part, because whatever you are introducing should be there inside the full article. Okay, that informations, that contents, the initial content is very important for the introduction part. Abstract, you can have some 2 pages, 2 pages to 3 pages. It should have the brief summary of your thesis. Don't have suddenly new information in your abstract. Whatever available, see abstract, conclusion and all you have to write at last. Okay. Then the abstract should have a clear objective. You have 3 objectives, 4 objectives. If you see your presentations, you can find PPT. That should be clearly written in detail. To solve that objective, what methodology you are going to use it? How many number of specimen? What software you are going to analyze? What method? What theorem? How you are going to collect the data? What type of analysis? How many data you have collected? Some very specialized methodology. Then try to have more keywords. Okay, core research area and only essential informations. Try not to have much grammar errors and spelling errors. And mostly what you did, how you did. This both information should be clearly mentioned in the abstract. Literature review, better separate based on the theme or based on the type of analysis, based how you are comfortable in separating the literatures. Okay. Um, if you see COVID lockdown, air pollution, India, if that is your study, tell about COVID first, then how this lockdown, right? Then air pollution, then through air pollution, how the health impacts, then the air quality index. So keep these as a separate theme or a heading, and then you collect articles related to that, and you have to write it. Every article will have certain strength, certain weakness. If you are seriously do your literature review thing, try to discuss that clearly. Article, we will have citations and they will check it. But thesis, many researchers will not check. Okay. But try to have it. Some researchers, their students, they'll explore the thesis in future. They will find this literature review content. Any difference, similarities, try to add it. Citations, try to use your institute format because some institute numerical format 1, 2, 3, 4, some institute alphabetical format. So you'll write about Daniel Etiol and you write a paragraph, then next another author paragraph, next another author paragraph. Not like research article. Then try to convey with their findings with the new perspective because their article may be published 5 years before. But now for that device, you may have simple example. I'll tell you. Uh, Recently, a Nobel laureate came to our institute. I said, right. So I'm just exploring it, discussing about this quantum thing. So I just exploring and that quantum concrete related to civil engineering. It's an interesting work. So you can provide such suggestions. Uh, those who do research on that area, if you have doing literatures, so it will be better. Okay. then recently published article and then go back, because in your introduction, in your literature review part, you can have like some 5 to 10 years. Don't go more beyond. Okay, because some institute you will and in the initial period you will do your literature review, right? That article sometimes it may be becoming very old. If you do for 6 years, 8 years of research, it will become old. Okay, think about those things. Materials and methods, you should have a detailed methodology. Better if you have one flowchart with some discussions will be better. Many researchers will have a flowcharts. In rare case, some institute I have seen they don't have flowcharts. They write as a some content, descriptive content. And whatever may be the study, analytical, statistical, numerical, experiment, what type of study you are doing, it is not an issue. But try to clearly mention that. If flowchart will be better and explain it clearly, because the workflow, sometimes some researchers they do their research work in a reverse manner. Sometimes to get some raw material, it takes 1 year time. So till that they will not waste. So they do other reverse certain other study. So that you have to manage it. But always remember really how the process goes. Based on that, you have to convey the methodology. Okay, how the process next by next. So first you have half 200 specimen, then you convert that to 20 based on this. That 20 will go to another study. Then that comes under 5. Then so that work process should be clearly mentioned. Why that is from 20 specimen it went to 5, from 5 specimen it reduced. So that details should be clearly written in your methodology part. So tool materials whatever you are using should be clearly mentioned. Result section in your thesis is very important. All data should be tabulated clearly, or we have a good graph, because the figures, because uh, mostly the examiners take, normally I have mailed to these examiners for unitations 1.5 month, but mostly they will take 3 months. Okay, so your figures will quickly convey the findings. So you may do for research for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, but they have to read the content and they have to provide your suggestions, right? So these figures tables will quickly get them to convey your uh, results in detail. Figure captions and the label, the horizontal, vertical uh, part, then units should be clearly mentioned. Sometimes you are comparing the results with conventional thing. All should be clearly mentioned in the results sections. Discussion is very important because the scientific outcome will be reflected in the discussion part. The interpretations, the inference which you are going to write, not that the highest, the lowest, this much percentage, that every even 10th class, 12th class students they can write. But as a depth researcher, in-depth research on your work, how scientifically with the multiple parameters you are going to convey your discussions. That's very important. Okay. And some results may not be good, but clearly you mention why it's not good. Okay, share that. Then take main points from results to discuss. Conclusion sections. The strongest statement from your observations. Tell the problem clearly and by using the methodology how you solved it. There will be limitations. All try to include in your conclusion part. Okay. Don't add sudden new findings. Try to have all the older findings whatever have. Better, I personally suggest to my scholar researcher is based on your chapter's workflow, some unique important results based on your objectives, you come in that order. So somebody reading the conclusion also they will understand, okay, first they done this, then this is the result, this is the results, and finally they are concluding. So it will be better. That order is very important. Okay. Then if you have, mostly you will have a future work, but some researchers say that I have solved it, no future work and all, but they will have a future work. So that try to add it. And obviously, what are the practical issues, limitations, try to include in your concluding sections. Figures and tables try to have 300 dpi figure quality. In the caption should be relevant. The figure caption is there, right? That caption should be relevant. And some formats, like some institute, it will be mentioned as figure.9, some institute fig.9. So small changes as per your institute format, try to check it out. And draw figure using PPT or Inkscape, whichever is comfortable, and add more information in any scheme images. Chapters are very important. The flow of chapter should be properly established. That is the first step. With your supervisor, discuss and write it. Okay. Don't think you write some content and your supervisor will change the order. Okay. Normally that's the process in many institute. You will write some content and you print and give to supervisor. They'll put some arrow mark. This has to go there, here, and they'll put a lot of routes. So don't do those things. Initially, your outline is very important. Okay. The flow of, because when you learn the way of writing properly, you can teach your students in future properly. Okay. Otherwise, the conventional thing, what you do, you write something by multiple source. One of my master students, he added in AI and all, and he just sent. So first I checked the plagiarism, all are AI. Then I said, hey man, I teach you all these stuffs and this is how it is. No time. A lot of things happen. So what he thought is like, I will correct the entire thing so that all the sentence will rearrange and it will change. So plagiarism will be gone. So the way students and other researchers, the way think will be different. But uh, again, there are options to send them back with multiple options to complete, because they have to learn. One day or the other day, they should learn. The chapters are very important, but initial itself clearly mentions. So figures, if in chapter 2 means it will start with figure 2.1, 2.2. If it is table 2.1, 2.2. And clearly mention, if it is table, try to mention it is tabulated. The content should be inside the thesis. And if it is figure, if the figure depicted or figure shows, that also should be clearly mentioned. After every chapter, some institute at last they will have a summary. Some institute only in introduction, not introduction. In literature review, you will have other sub chapters, like uh, after the literature, you will get the research gaps, because after doing the literature, you get the research gaps. Then at the end of the literature review, in some institute I have seen the objective also will be mentioned. Based of the gap only, you are going to derive on your research objectives. Okay, and proper numbering should be there. All sections, heading, numbering, and all. Okay. So how the libraries, the published thesis you can able to access, you will find it. This is Anna University, Chennai. They have a university library. They will find a lot of theses. Swat Ganga is an Indian thesis reservoir. You have a good number of theses all around. I'll suggest you to explore this website, and I'll just show you a little bit about this source. InCat also have a good number of theses, and Krisikos has a good number of theses, nearly 1,72,000 plus. Now it may be increased. This took, I think, some 1-2 years before. They have a huge collections now related to agriculture based research. So various country will have their national thesis repository, like Ohio Link ETD is for Ohio State as well as US thesis. RCAAP for Portugal, they have some good number of institutes. All their theses were available over here. Then thesis collection Wales, they have some certain number of theses in their province. And thesis.France has their doctoral thesis available in online. And True is the National Library of Australia. They have a good number of theses. And BDTD is a Brazilian digital thesis websites. And CINII is belongs to Japan. So the Japan universities they are maintaining there. And DISS online for German universities. Then Ethos, like electronic thesis online service, belongs to British Lab. And many place you will have your British library or US library. There you can find good thesis. You have to, because many library you will have 3-4 cards. Okay, you get that card and you can go there and explore the thesis. In Hong Kong institutional repositories, then some of the international thesis, like overall, will have a huge collections from cyber thesis belongs to developed by University of Chile. Then DART is for all the European based thesis you will find somewhere around 27 countries. Nearly 5 lakh plus thesis you will get in DART websites. And DIVA will have an academic archive online. We have a huge collections. The Nordic countries, Norway. Then NDLTD is the Network Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertations. Then ProQuest as a digital thesis, they have a huge collections. And some websites like OATD, Open Access Thesis Dissertations, you will find good number of theses in these websites. OATD.org. Okay. Obviously, the formats, the way, see, if you see in some abroad countries like TU Delft, if you see the first thesis which is showing here is from Delft. Another is University of Tübingen, some German university, various theses you will find. Okay, some many these websites, not only the PhD thesis, also you will find the master's thesis also. Okay, so try to explore these web source. And in India, mostly ETD, that is electronic version of Indian thesis in belongs to IISc Bangalore, and these are all mostly for their institute. They will have their thesis. And e-thesis at NIT Rourkela, then this same institute is IIT Delhi and IISc Library Digital Repository, Mahatma Gandhi University Online Thesis Repository. And many IIT institute, if you go to the library, you will find good number of theses. Okay. 1 second. So Shodh Ganga is Indian thesis reservoir. Somebody can share your topic. They have a huge collection, nearly 6 lakhs thesis. Before going to this, every institute, for example, this is IIT Kanpur thesis preparations. They have similar guidelines like this. Every institute will have certain guidelines. The problem is when you start preparing, you will not go through these guidelines. You will start go through your senior's thesis, other informations, because sometimes the guidelines will get changed, but that will be updated in the website. But your senior's thesis could have published long back. Okay. This for IIT Kanpur, the introduction, the reference style, right? So how many number of copies you have to submit? So thesis title, the statement written by the students. Then you have to attach your manuscript and other copies, size and margins A4. So they are given in mm, right? So the image size should be how much, all the details, the numbering. So line spacing, then tables, figures, equations, then binding, what type of binding you should make. And every institute nearby your campus, there will be a photocopy center. They do formatting and other things. Some research students, they do those options. Like they prepare their entire content in Word file or LaTeX file, anywhere they will prepare the entire content. But what they will do at last, is give this content to that data entry person. They will charge like per hour 300 or some amount they will charge it. They will do, because more than you, they know the format of your institute very well. They will update frequently. They will do the formatting and they will provide. But my personal suggestion is, I done my formatting on my own. My current students done his formatting on his own. Okay. Uh, Better if you do, it will be good. Sometimes you don't get enough time. Mostly, like I have seen some part-time research students, they will not have enough time. They will be in like construction builders or somebody, like they do part-time research. Uh, they will give to uh, these people. They will do the formatting and other thing, but content will be belongs to them. Okay. And but even though content belongs to them, you have to spend some time to check whether all the alignments, because sometimes one heading will be there in the last line. So that heading has to be sent to the next page. So these some manual errors, all are humans, we will find some manual errors. Try to spend some time and check all those things. Okay. The sequence of contents, like starting from title page, certificate, abstract, acknowledgement, table of contents, list, introduction, body of the thesis, and finally reference materials, so appendix, all the details should be clearly mentioned. So a student should provide around 6 copies and a separate 2 copies with the abstract not exceeding 250 words, the separate to PK Gailkal library in IIT Kanpur. Actually, twice I have attended the literature review workshop in IIT Kanpur during at the end of my master's 2 years. First year, the summer vacation time, as well as in the second year of my master's program during that vacation time, during May, June. It's a 1 month program in IIT Kanpur. There's a person named Suresh Ailwadi. He used to organize that event. The best thing is that workshop will help you to normally they provide only once. So I said I'm planning for my PhD in future, and then finally they have taken me. I said in my institute certain literatures were not possible, so if I given an opportunity it will be better. So they take it went well. A lot of tasks will be given for literature reviews. So we'll have time to go to the library and spend. You will have a network access, the LAN access, the Wi-Fi access. So it is a good program. The best thing is I think they charge somewhere around 2000 rupees, and with that there are, I think, the good sponsors. With the 2000 rupees, stay plus food, right? It's food also, good food in mess. Hopefully, uh, Kanpur, I think we get good milk. Those areas. That's good. Okay. So then other informations like in introductions, the body of the thesis, summary, conclusion, reference, small guidelines will be mentioned here. Before start preparing, try to explore all these things. So if you see this here, the journal formatting, the title is in the journal title is in italic. Okay. So try to follow this. Page number is mentioned as pp.369. Okay. So try to follow these things. If you are using any reference management tool, and if you are using is also fine. An appendix, if you have different sections, you use appendix A, B, that depends. Okay. So sample formats were given here, starting for title page, all the contents. Then for certificates, this is the template by the supervisors. So this is the front page, the first page. I think there is no logo even. This is the, you can check your the websites. Okay. Like for example, Anna University, Chennai, DIT. You will find a lot of differences in their formatting even. This is I think the introduction part. Sorry. Uh, okay, here introduction itself, they have another chapter in like with the literature. They have included here. Okay, but another institute I will show you. Chapter 2 is a separate literature review. Okay, depends on the institute format. See here, there similarly only in our current institute. So there is no table figures. But the foreign examiner asking there is no figure table, you add everything in your literatures. Okay, that depends. See, like a research article. Maybe in Australia, in their institute, he is from Deakin University, Australia, as a professor. So these suggestions sometimes may not be possible. Okay, but clearly you have to convey these informations that this is the reasons we are not able to like revise the manuscript as per your suggestions. Convey it clearly. Nothing wrong in that. Right. Finally, okay, here they based on the literature. I think no summary even. Okay, better if you have a summary. See, check your institute formats. That's better. Okay, based on the institute format, if you are exploring it, will be better. And the appendix in this thesis, I think they have added your data collections or your questionnaire. See, survey questionnaire they have added, right? So you go to Shodh Ganga and you put your topic. For example, I'm just adding supply chain management. One simple example I'm just going to convey here is, okay, read this last title. So, supply chain management of agriculture commodities in Kerala with special reference to spices, right? Now, a researcher from Coimbatore going to do research similarly in Tamil Nadu. For them, this thesis will be helpful or not. A person going to do research on Tamil Nadu related to agriculture commodities, special reference to species or other things, but related to agriculture. This thesis will be helpful or not. Normally, who are all the researchers? Through the company named Manuscriptpedia, we are guiding many researchers because some researchers will not get proper guidance. So we connect with them and we have multiple 2 weeks once we have a meeting and we follow it and we will do it. For them who are coming in the initial stage, we ask them to pick topics, research work related. You should collect two base theses initially. You should collect two base theses also initially. base article, base thesis. If similarly related to the supply chain management on maybe related to agriculture and related to maybe another new other related to maybe other industries. If you have a two theses were closely related, and if you go to these uh, articles, which journal they are publishing, and these researchers they have completed, I think they are from which institute? Mahatma Gandhi University from Kerala, and so even plagiarism reports were also added. Annexures. Okay, so their format alignments is different. Good, but okay. So try to explore this in the initial time of your research program, so that what you will come to your you will get it. Okay, finally after 3 years or 4 years, we need 3 to 4 chapters. That should be our own findings. So for that 4 chapters, at least we need to have a 4 methodology. We should clearly have it. So based on that 4 objectives, we can have at least a 4 articles. So you will work it out in the initial days. Now the problem is we are not doing any work in the initial days. At the flow how it is going, you are just going. Finally after 4 years, we are just rearranging all the works flow. You can see in multiple meetings, right? They will say they rearrange the slides based on this. So from how it's so that's how it's going on. So initially you should fix clearly. See the difference. Because I attended multiple meetings even in top institutes like IITs and other institute. So there the objective is very clear. And if you see in IIT Delhi, the comprehension meeting is, it will be very clear. The objective will be clearly mentioned. All the methodology will be clearly mentioned. How much quantity of what is going to be used is clearly mentioned. After the meeting, it is easy for the scholar to just follow that and they can complete. But here in other institute, I attended multiple meetings, so it will be totally uh, so it's difficult. So initially, if you explore these kind of thesis as a base thesis, which is closely related to your work, but you are not uh, like maybe even agriculture you are doing for Tamil Nadu, maybe some parameters they have missed it, you can enhance it, you can do in a different way. Through AI based, you can work it out, or machine learning based. That depends on the author, but you will have these theses as a reference. Okay, maybe you will have an additional chapter with this machine learning part or other parts. Okay, this is one method. And another method is, for example, if you are from some universities, for formatting purpose, for example, if you are from Savitri Bai Pune University, so here you will scroll down and find the very recent 2025, 20 to 25, maybe from engineering or anything. You just select it. Okay, seeing some issues. Okay, when you click there, right side there is an option based on the years. So better you get through the years and try to find the very recent 2025. So that this is if you are collecting, and for formatting, logo, spacing and other purpose. This PDF you can convert to Word file. This PDF you can convert in Word file. Then you can check it, the spacing, alignment, what they have done, and all you can check it out. This is 2020. Try to filter with the years. Okay. There are other websites, but how does AI assisted analysis affects research originality in thesis writing? See, uh, as of today, you do analysis in maybe Julius, there is an AI based tool. That image is not showing in AI based plagiarism. Okay, results. Now you get the results, you are plotting it. For plotting, you use Excel. The same Excel image, if you are copying and pasting in Word file, it will show plagiarism. But that content you put in a put in an if you are adding into the PowerPoint and you converting that as an image, I'm just stop my screen. You are converting that as an image file. That image content is not showing any plagiarism in Turnitin or any other source. Okay, hope you understand. So if it is generated as a JPEG or any image format, this but the data should be yours, whatever your collected data related to your research work, and the analysis, the methods should be yours which you are selecting, because different researchers use different methods, mixed methods, that depends on the authors and their uh, ideas. Okay, uh, so that depends, but that results or what you can, if you think that image, if you are using it is very difficult for you to use, you ask, obviously the AI tool will use give you the results in terms of Excel sheets or some values. That values you put in origin and you plot it and you have it in your article, because some graphs in Excel, some graphs in origin, some graphs in AI, that will be affecting your thesis. Okay, that will be not good. Better try to follow the same uniform methods. Other than introduction, literatures, and body of your article, you must enjoy it and you should write, because you are not going to write something new. If you see in my thesis, only one chapter were not published during the PhD time. Other remaining all chapters were published. So that published content, you are trying to write it with in a different style. Different style in the sense not rephrasing. You are because in a detailed manner. For example, some points in your article you will write in a single line, but in your thesis you will write in a detailed manner. When do we need to start writing the thesis? First year, no. You have to start because uh, uh, in India, after the synopsis meeting, you have to start writing your thesis. But I know some professors in India, what they do is, if the thesis is completed, then only they will allow the students to allow the research scholars to conduct the synopsis meeting. That's a kind of checkpoint. So if you need to conduct the synopsis meeting as soon as possible, you complete the draft thesis or the final thesis part. Okay, and some institute for conducting the synopsis, their regulation itself, you will have a mandatory draft thesis. So that will be also there. So better when you get ready for the synopsis meeting, slowly parallelly prepare for your thesis also. Okay, synopsis document will be a 15-page document. It's a cut short. Your 150 or 200-page thesis, you should write in a like a full content in a single 4 articles. You should write as a single article. That is also another task. Okay, but many researchers will find very difficult to write the synopsis because you will have enough good number of results, data and all, but you will cut short, remove a lot of things. So sometimes you will even feel bad. Okay, I am not able to add this. So that's a part of the synopsis report thing. But uh, chapters we need to start with. Better you go on the workflow. Chapters from 1, 2, 3, 4 will be better. It's a very see Synapses Institute also given a format, but many institute 15 page. You should not even increase 16th page also. 15 page they will make it down. When do we start writing the thesis? First year? No, no, first year. First year you have to spend time on doing literature review. You have to read articles. You have to review it, you have to work to determine your objectives, and based on the objective, you have to do your work. After your entire objectives were done, then you start writing your thesis. The results, uh, everything is done, your publication is done, even not the published one even. You submitted final article, you communicated, then. And my one more suggestion is, at the end of your PhD program, always try to have one article additionally with you without publications. There's some institute after your PhD to get the guideship to be a supervisor. After your PhD, within 1 year, you have to publish a quality article to get guideship. Okay. So if you have an article with you related to your research work, after you join a new institute for your faculty position or research positions, whatever it may be, you publish it and get the guideship. So that will be better. See, you are not going to publish each chapter. It's a full thesis. This publishing in Shodhganga also will not be done by authors. It will be done by your institute research office or your institute. Mostly institute will have a like directorate of research and consultancy, or some names you will have a research team in your institute. They are only going to upload. They have a login ID. They are going to upload your thesis in Shodhganga, not an author's. Like article, you are not going to submit here. Okay, declaration slides once again. That's not for all the institute. This declaration slides works. One second, I missed. And why these declarations are made normally is, many researchers, after your PhD, some company will call you. Based on your thesis, you will write book and we will publish. In that case, the royalty not only go for the authors, the institute also should get 40%. For that, they have a declaration. So better not to go for such manner. That's better thing. Publishing the thesis is mandatory to complete PhD. Yes, yes. Publishing to get degree. See, uh, you are not going to publishing your thesis. Your institute or some institute, the library will be publishing in their online source, web source. See, I think mostly tomorrow and day after tomorrow, I will be traveling, and so we will not have sessions. So 27th and 28th evening we will have session. Okay, 27th and 28th. The 20, sorry, 26th and 27th. So that day I will take some additional time and try to wrap up all the remaining topics. Thank you all. I will discuss with the officials from MSME and I will convey those information in group. Thank you all. Thank you all for your time.